Hey guys, tonight we're taking a journey to a world far removed from our own, high in the breathtaking, yet brutal, peaks of the Andes Mountains. Forget your morning coffee and your comfortable commutes. We're about to explore the brutal daily grind of an Inca Chasqui messenger. Imagine, for a moment, that you're not scrolling through your phone in a warm bed, but waking to the thin, icy air of an Andean dawn, your breath misting in the pre-dawn chill. Your alarm clock isn't a gentle chime. It's the insistent, high-pitched whistle of a fellow runner, signaling the start of another relentless day. This isn't just history, it's a test of human endurance that will make your gym routine look like a leisurely stroll. You're about to step into the worn sandals of a man whose very existence was a testament to speed, stamina, and an unwavering commitment to an empire. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Tell me, where are you tuning in from tonight? And what time is it there? Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You stir on your simple reed mat, the rough fibers pressing into your aching muscles. The air in the tambo, a small roadside lodge for travelers and messengers, is thin and cold, even with the faint glow of a dying fire in the central hearth. Outside, the Andean peaks, majestic and imposing, are just beginning to catch the first slivers of harsh, pre-dawn light, painting the sky in hues of frigid pink and pale violet. The altitude, a constant companion, presses down on your chest, making every breath a conscious effort. You rub the sleep from your eyes, feeling the grit of dust and exhaustion, and swing your legs over the edge of the mat. Your clothing is simple, yet surprisingly effective against the biting cold: a thick wool tunic, woven tightly to trap warmth, and sturdy leggings. Your feet, accustomed to the rough terrain, are bare beneath simple, robust sandals, tied with leather thongs. There's no time for elaborate preparations. Your breakfast is a handful of dried maize, hard and unyielding, chewed slowly to extract what little energy it offers. Alongside it, you take a small pouch, not of coffee, but of coca leaves. You select a few, carefully placing them in your cheek, the bitter taste immediately filling your mouth. As you chew, the mild stimulant begins its slow, steady work, dulling the pangs of hunger and, more importantly, helping your body cope with the crushing effects of the high altitude and the brutal physical demands to come. Stepping out of the tambo, the Andean dawn truly bites. The air is so thin it feels sharp, cutting through your lungs. The ground is often frozen solid, the blades of grass stiff with frost. You can see your breath plume out in thick clouds, momentarily obscuring the breathtaking, yet unforgiving landscape. The silence is immense, broken only by the whistling wind, or the distant cry of an Andean condor circling high above. This is your office, your home, your challenge the relentless, unyielding mountains. Your body, though lean and powerful, is already aching. Every muscle screams in protest from yesterday's monumental effort, but there's no time for lingering. You stretch, a quick, familiar ritual, trying to coax your stiff limbs into readiness. Your eyes scan the horizon, following the impossibly straight line of the Inca Road, a marvel of engineering that snakes its way across mountainsides, through deep valleys, and over treacherous passes. This road is your lifeline, the very artery of the Inca Empire. The Inca road system was an astonishing feat of ancient engineering, stretching over 25,000 miles, 40,000 kilometers across some of the most challenging terrain on Earth. It wasn't just a single path, but a vast, interconnected network, meticulously constructed without the use of wheeled vehicles, which the Inca didn't possess. Imagine traversing thousands of miles, from the coastal deserts to the dizzying heights of the Andes, all on foot. You're intimately familiar with every twist, every turn, every steep incline and dizzying drop. These aren't mere trails, they are engineered pathways, often paved with stones, complete with retaining walls, drainage systems, and even tunnels carved through solid rock. It's a common historical misconception that these roads were solely for military purposes. In fact, their primary function was to facilitate communication and administrative control across the vast empire, making the Chasqui the true lifeblood of the Inca state. Your immediate segment of the road is typically 3 to 6 miles, 5 to 10 kilometers long. Connecting one tambo to the next, you are one of perhaps several hundred Chasqui stationed along specific segments of this vast network, forming a human relay system that could transport messages at an astonishing speed. You run not just for yourself, but as part of an intricate living chain. As you begin your run, the physical demands are immediate and unrelenting. The thin air, already challenging for anyone not acclimated, makes every lungful of oxygen feel insufficient. Your heart pounds in your chest, a frantic drumbeat against your ribs. Your leg muscles, already burning from yesterday, quickly protest, but you push through the pain. The Inca roads, while expertly built, often involve steep inclines and dizzying descents, sometimes requiring you to navigate narrow paths carved into sheer cliff faces, with a terrifying drop hundreds of feet below. You run with a characteristic light, agile gait, your body swaying slightly with each stride, minimizing impact on your joints. Your sandals provide just enough protection without impeding your connection to the terrain. You are a master of this environment. Your footsteps sure and deliberate on the uneven surfaces, even when frost or loose scree makes the path treacherous. Your mind is keenly focused, alert to every shifting stone, every sudden gust of wind that could send you tumbling into the abyss. The altitude sickness, or Saroche, is a constant battle, even acclimated. The lack of oxygen means perpetual breathlessness, lightheadedness, and sometimes a dull, persistent headache that thrums behind your eyes. The coca leaves you chew off for vital relief, not just masking the fatigue and hunger, but actively helping your body metabolize oxygen more efficiently. It's a natural, ancient aid that has sustained generations of Andean dwellers. And for you, it's the difference between continuing your run and collapsing on the path. It's a fascinating, less-known fact that the Inca strictly controlled coca cultivation and distribution. Understanding its immense value for their laborers, especially the Chasqui, the terrain itself presents constant challenges. You might encounter sections of the road buried under recent rockfalls, forcing you to scramble over jagged boulders. Sudden mountain storms can sweep in, bringing torrential rain, stinging hail, or even blinding blizzards, turning the path into a slippery, frozen nightmare. You learn to read the sky, to sense the subtle shifts in the wind that herald approaching weather. Crossing rope bridges, swaying precariously over deep gorges, is a common occurrence. These bridges, woven from agave fibers, are engineering marvels in themselves. But traversing them at a run, with the abyss yawning below, requires immense courage and a steady nerve. Your mind, though focused on the physical demands, is also a highly tuned instrument. You are a living library of the landscape, intimately familiar with every rock, every bend, every potential shortcut or hazard on your segment of the road. You can gauge distances by the sun's position, read the subtle signs of approaching weather, and identify the calls of distant wildlife. This deep, instinctive connection to your environment is as crucial to your success as your physical prowess. As you near the end of your segment, your senses sharpen, listening for the distinctive signal from the next tambo. A high-pitched whistle, blown through a conch shell or bone, would be the sign. You would listen for it, straining your ears over the wind. Its sound a powerful motivator, a promise of a brief pause, a fleeting moment of respite before the next runner takes over. The very anticipation of that whistle pushes you to maintain your punishing pace, to squeeze every last ounce of speed from your aching legs. Then you hear it, a clear, resonant blast cutting through the thin air. You respond with your own whistle, a reciprocal signal that you are approaching. The final few hundred yards are a sprint, a burst of incredible effort, fueled by adrenaline and sheer willpower. You arrive at the tambo, often a simple stone building with a thatched roof. Breath heaving, chest burning, your body drenched in sweat despite the cold. Another Chasqui, fresh and alert, waits for you, his eyes keen and ready. Eyes keen, and this exchange, the relay of the message, is the core of the Chasqui system. You don't just drop off a scroll, it's a precise, high-pressure transfer. You would carry 2 items a quipu, a complex system of knotted colored cords that represented numerical and sometimes narrative data, and often a spoken message. The moment you arrive, you would verbally deliver your message, often a short, precise update or command, to the waiting runner. Your words would be concise, direct, leaving no room for ambiguity. Then, you would hand over the quipu, often a dense tangle of knots that to an outsider would seem incomprehensible. But to you and to the other Chasqui and Quipucamayak's quipu keepers, it was a meticulously organized repository of information. You might briefly explain the quipu's context, clarifying which knots represented what data or which string referred to a specific event. This was where the incredible efficiency of the Inca communication truly shone complex data, transmitted visually and numerically, backed up by precise verbal instructions. It's a fascinating and still heavily debated point among archaeologists and linguists whether the quipus contained true phonetic writing or were purely mnemonic devices. This unresolved academic debate underscores the enduring mystery of Inca communication. The speed with which these messages traveled was astonishing. News and fresh fish from the coast could reach the Sapa Inca in Cusco, hundreds of miles and thousands of feet in elevation away. In a matter of days, imagine fresh seafood, caught on the Pacific coast, delivered to the emperor in the high Andes, over 11,000 feet up, within 48 hours. This incredible feat was a testament to your endurance, your speed, and the seamless efficiency of the Chasqui relay system. The exchange at the tambo is brief, a high-stakes moment of intense focus. As the message leaves your lips and the quipu passes from your hand to the next Chasqui, a profound sense of momentary relief washes over you. Your part of the relay is complete. The incoming runner, fresh and alert, acknowledges your message with a crisp nod, perhaps repeating a key phrase to ensure accuracy. His hands, nimble and practiced, immediately begin to interpret the knots of the quipu, their precise movements a silent language understood only by the initiated. There's a swift, almost practiced elegance to the transfer, a testament to years of training and countless successful relays. For you, however, the immediate future holds only a fleeting respite. Your body is screaming for rest, but the demands of the imperial system are relentless. You are guided to a small, rudimentary sleeping area within the tambo, usually just a partitioned section of the main room. Offering little privacy, you collapse onto a reed mat, your muscles trembling with exhaustion. There's no time for a leisurely meal. Perhaps a quick, nourishing broth of dried meat and quinoa is offered, quickly consumed to replenish spent energy. You might take a few more coca leaves, tucking them into your cheek. The mild narcotic effect subtly dulling the sharp edges of fatigue and hunger. Sleep, when it comes, is often shallow and fitful. The constant awareness of your surroundings, the ambient sounds of the tambo, the low murmur of other travelers, the shifting of livestock outside, the biting wind whistling through cracks in the stone walls, prevent true, deep slumber. Your body is too keyed up, too accustomed to constant motion and vigilance, to fully relax. You might drift off for an hour or two, your dreams a chaotic jumble of twisting mountain paths, the relentless pounding of your own footsteps, and the urgent whistle of a faraway conch shell. Just as your body begins to truly relax, the sharp, insistent whistle of the next incoming Chasqui pierces the thin air, signaling the arrival of a new message and the impending start of your next leg. There's no hitting the snooze button here. You snap awake, your heart immediately quickening, your mind already calculating the remaining daylight, the distance of your next segment, and the potential hazards of the path. You stumble up, your muscles stiff and protesting. But the inherent discipline of the Chasqui system overrides any personal discomfort. You are a part of a vital, living network, and every link must hold. You step back out into the Andean light, whether it's still dawn, midday, or the approaching dusk. The air is still thin, still sharp, but your body is now thoroughly accustomed to its bite. You perform your quick stretches, feeling the familiar aches in your hamstrings and calves. Your eyes already keen. Scan the horizon for the next segment of the Inca Road, a winding ribbon carved into the impossibly steep slopes. You are ready. The Inca road system was more than just pathways. It was a testament to the Incas' profound understanding of engineering, logistics, and resource management. Unlike the Roman roads, built for wheeled vehicles and marching legions, the Inca roads were primarily designed for foot traffic and pack llamas. They traversed every conceivable type of terrain from the arid coastal deserts, where they were marked by low walls or posts, to the dizzying heights of the Andes, where they became meticulously paved paths, sometimes carved directly into sheer rock faces. Imagine running along a path that hugs a vertical cliff, with a terrifying drop of hundreds, even thousands of feet below you. These roads included sophisticated features, drainage systems to prevent erosion, retaining walls to stabilize hillsides, and even tunnels hand-carved through solid rock. A monumental undertaking without modern tools. It's a common historical misconception that the Inca Empire was geographically isolated. In fact, this vast road network, along with the Chasqui system, allowed for incredibly rapid communication and control over disparate regions, making it one of the most effectively administered ancient empires. As you begin your run, the gradient of the path immediately tests your lungs and legs. The air remains stubbornly thin, each breath a struggle to draw in enough oxygen. Your heart pounds a relentless rhythm against your ribs, a drumbeat of pure exertion. Your legs, though still protesting, find their familiar cadence, a light, agile stride that minimizes impact while maximizing efficiency on the uneven, often rocky surfaces. Your worn sandals grip the ground, providing just enough protection from sharp stones while allowing for a sensitive connection to the terrain. You are a true master of this brutal landscape. The environmental challenges are constant and varied. You might find yourself running through a dense cloud, a mist so thick it reduces visibility to mere feet, making every step a gamble against unseen potholes or sudden drops. Or perhaps the sun beats down relentlessly, baking the exposed rock and radiating an intense heat that dehydrates you with alarming speed. Even worse are the sudden, dramatic Andean storms. These can sweep in with terrifying speed, transforming a clear sky into a maelstrom of driving rain, stinging hail, or even blinding blizzards. The meticulously built road can quickly become a slick, muddy, or even icy death trap, forcing you to reduce your speed, to pick your way with extreme caution, knowing that a single slip could send you plummeting into a ravine. And then there are the rope bridges. Spanning deep, terrifying gorges, these swaying, precarious structures, woven from tough agave fibers, were engineering marvels of the Inca world. To cross them at a run, with the wind whipping at your exposed body and the abyss yawning hundreds of feet below, requires immense courage, an unshakable nerve, and absolute faith in the integrity of the bridge and the engineers who built it. You feel the bridge sway and creak under your weight, its woven fibers groaning in protest, a visceral reminder of the constant danger inherent in your daily work. Yet, you push on, for the message must go through. Wildlife also presents a subtle, yet persistent, threat. While large predators like pumas or bears are rare on the main roads, the smaller creatures of the Andes can still cause problems. A sudden snake slithering across the path, a startled vicuña darting unexpectedly, or even a swarm of biting insects can distract a runner, leading to a potentially fatal misstep on a narrow mountain pass. You learn to observe your surroundings with a keen, almost primal awareness, constantly scanning for any signs of danger. Your senses heightened by the perpetual state of vigilance. Your diet and sustenance during these grueling runs are incredibly basic, yet meticulously designed for endurance. The handful of dried maize or quinoa provides crucial carbohydrates, slowly releasing energy, but the coca leaves are your true lifeline. You continue to chew them, the bitter taste of familiar comfort, the mild stimulant effect dulling hunger, masking fatigue, and most importantly, helping your body cope with the severe lack of oxygen at high altitudes. It's an ancient, effective, and perfectly adapted energy booster that allows you to push your body to limits that would be impossible for an unacclimated person. It's a less-known fact that while coca was integral to the Chasquis' performance, its use was strictly controlled by the Inca state, highlighting their understanding of its power and importance. The mental discipline required for your role is as demanding as the physical. Your mind must be constantly alert, even as your body screams for rest. You are not just a runner, you are a living repository of information. You must meticulously remember the spoken message, often a complex command or report from a regional governor to the Sapa Inca. And you must be able to accurately explain the nuances of the quipu you carry, ensuring the next Chasqui, and eventually the quipu Kamayok, fully grasps its data. This requires exceptional memory and clarity of thought, even under extreme duress. The quipu itself is a fascinating marvel. It's not just a collection of knots, it's a sophisticated recording device. A system of knotted colored cords that could represent vast amounts of numerical data census figures, tribute payments, military supplies, and potentially, some scholars argue, that even narrative information or historical events. Each knot, each color, each position held a specific meaning, understood only by the trained Quipukamaics and the Chasqui who verbally contextualized them. Imagine trying to run several miles uphill, battling altitude sickness, while simultaneously recalling the precise meaning and context of a complex knotted message system. This unique dual-layer communication system, verbal and quipu, was a stroke of genius, ensuring accuracy and redundancy in vital imperial communication. Whether Quipus truly contained a phonetic writing system, akin to our alphabets, or were purely mnemonic and numerical remains one of the greatest unresolved mysteries in Inca studies, fueling intense academic debate to this day. As you near the end of your current segment, you listen intently for the next whistle, a sound that promises both relief and the continuation of the endless relay. The anticipation pushes you, drives you to squeeze every last drop of effort from your burning lungs and aching legs. The wind whips past you, carrying the scents of pine and distant mountain wildflowers. But your focus is singular: the next tambo, the next runner, the uninterrupted flow of the message. The whistle, when it finally comes, is a sharp, clear blast echoing through the vast, thin air of the Andes. It's the signal you've been straining for, the notification that the next Chasqui is approaching your tambo, bringing a new message, a new burden to be carried across the rugged terrain. You snap to attention, your body, though weary, immediately readying itself for the exchange. This is the heart of the Inca communication system, a human relay, flawlessly executed, dependent entirely on the precision and endurance of each runner. You position yourself at the edge of the tambo, your eyes scanning the winding line of the Inca road. Soon, a figure emerges, a faint speck against the vast mountainside, growing steadily larger, moving with that same distinctive, relentless Chasqui gait. He runs with the powerful, efficient strides you know so well, a testament to years of training and adaptation to the brutal altitude. As he nears, you prepare yourself, clearing your mind, ready to absorb every word, every nuance of the message he carries. The incoming Chasqui arrives, breathless but focused, his chest heaving, his face slick with sweat despite the biting cold. There's a swift, almost ritualistic exchange. He delivers the spoken message first, a concise, urgent report or command, perhaps about a recent skirmish on the Empire's borders, or a detailed account of a harvest in a distant valley. Your mind, though tired, must immediately grasp the key details, committing them to memory. There is no room for error, no time for clarification beyond a quick, precise question or two to ensure absolute accuracy. The fate of entire communities, or the outcome of military campaigns, could hinge on the precise transmission of these words. Immediately following the verbal relay, he extends his hand, offering the quipu. This isn't just a simple handover. It's a moment of profound trust and responsibility. The quipu, a complex system of knotted, colored cords, is the true marvel of Inca record-keeping. You take it carefully, your trained fingers already discerning the different types of knots, the variations in cord thickness, the specific colors, each detail imbued with meaning. The incoming Chasqui might add a brief verbal explanation, clarifying which sequence of knots represents specific data, or providing context for a particular set of numbers. This dual system, combining spoken word with intricate visual data, was the bedrock of the Incas' astonishing administrative efficiency. It's a point of intense academic debate among linguists and archaeologists whether the quipus contained a phonetic writing system or were purely mnemonic and numerical records. This unresolved question highlights the genius and enduring mystery of Inca communication. The outgoing Chasqui then takes his leave, his duty completed, heading for his much-needed, though often brief, rest within the tambo. For you, and however, the run has just begun. You grasp the quipu, adjust your simple wool tunic, and take a deep breath. The coca leaves you chewed earlier, or perhaps just now, begin their steady work, dulling the pangs of hunger and the ache in your muscles, providing that crucial boost to your oxygen uptake in the thin mountain air. You turn, and with a deep, resonant blast from your conch shell whistle, you announce your departure to the next tambo down the line. The sound, a haunting echo in the vast Andean landscape, is a promise of continuity, a signal that the vital pulse of the empire continues to beat. As you embark on your segment, the full weight of the empire rests on your shoulders. You are not merely carrying information, you are carrying the very will of the Sapa Inca, the supreme ruler, whose words could travel across thousands of miles of brutal terrain at an astonishing speed, a testament to the unparalleled efficiency of the Chasqui system. This system allowed the Inca to administer a vast, diverse empire, coordinating everything from military movements and tribute collection to agricultural planning and census data, all without the benefit of written language as we understand it. The Inca road network itself is your constant companion and your greatest challenge. It is a monumental feat of engineering, stretching over 25,000 miles, 40,000 kilometers across some of the most unforgiving landscapes on Earth. These aren't just dirt paths. They are meticulously constructed arteries, often paved with interlocking stones, complete with elaborate drainage systems, retaining walls and sometimes even tunnels carved directly through solid rock. You traverse these paths with an innate understanding of their nuances, your feet instinctively knowing where to find purchase on a loose scree slope, or how to navigate the slick surface of a rain-soaked section. It's a common misconception that these roads were designed for armies. While troops did use them, their primary purpose was for rapid communication and the movement of goods, making the Chasqui the true circulatory system of the Inca state. Your typical segment, roughly 3 to 6 miles, 5 to 10 kilometers long, is deceptively challenging. While seemingly short, each segment is designed to push the limits of human endurance within the high-altitude environment. You run with a distinctive, economical gait, your body slightly hunched forward, minimizing wind resistance, your arms pumping rhythmically to propel you forward. Your simple, sturdy sandals provide just enough protection for your calloused feet while maintaining crucial sensory connection with the uneven terrain. You are a natural athlete, honed by years of relentless training in this brutal environment. The altitude sickness, or soroche, is a constant, nagging adversary. Even fully acclimated, the perpetual lack of oxygen means your lungs burn with every breath. Your heart pounds relentlessly, and a dull, persistent headache often throbs behind your eyes. The coca leaves you chew are not just for comfort, they are a vital physiological aid, helping your body to metabolize oxygen more efficiently, dulling the pain, and providing a sustained, mild stimulant effect that allows you to push through the overwhelming fatigue. Without them, your job, quite simply, would be impossible. A lesser-known fact is that the Inca maintained strict control over the cultivation and distribution of coca. Recognizing its immense strategic value for their laborers, especially those performing high-altitude tasks like the Chasqui, the environmental hazards you face on your run are numerous and unpredictable. A sudden, violent Andean storm can erupt without warning, transforming a clear, sunny path into a treacherous ordeal of torrential rain, stinging hail, or even blinding blizzards. The meticulously paved roads can quickly become slick with mud or ice, turning a confident run into a cautious, dangerous scramble. You learn to read the subtle signs of the sky, the shifts in the wind, the distant rumble of thunder, constantly adapting your pace and technique to the ever-changing conditions. Crossing rope bridges is a common, terrifying reality. These remarkable suspension bridges, woven from strong agave fibers, often span dizzying gorges hundreds of feet deep. As you run across them, the bridge sways precariously under your weight, creaking and groaning with every gust of wind. Below, the abyss yawns, a dizzying void that seems to pull at your very soul. It requires immense courage and an unwavering focus to maintain your speed and balance, knowing that a single misstep could send you plummeting to your death. Yet the message must go through. And so you push past the fear, your discipline overriding your instincts for self-preservation. You are also keenly aware of the more subtle dangers of the wild Andean landscape. While direct encounters with large predators are rare on the main roads, the possibility always lingers. More common are the smaller, yet still dangerous, distractions of poisonous snakes slithering across the path, a startled herd of vicuña suddenly darting into your way, or even swarms of biting insects that can cause a momentary lapse in concentration. A potentially fatal error on a narrow mountain pass. Your senses are constantly heightened, an almost primal awareness of your surroundings, trained to detect the slightest anomaly. As you push through the segment, your mind, though focused on the physical act of running, is also a highly tuned instrument. You are a living map of the terrain, intimately familiar with every rock, every bend, every potential shortcut or hidden hazard. You can gauge distances by the sun's position, read the subtle signs of approaching weather, and identify the calls of distant wildlife. This deep, almost spiritual connection to your environment is as crucial to your success as your exceptional physical prowess. You are not just a runner, you are an integral part of the mountain itself, moving in harmony with its challenging rhythms. As you push through your segment, the thin air of the Andes continues its relentless assault on your lungs. Every breath is a conscious effort, a burning sensation in your chest that never quite dissipates. Your heart pounds a furious rhythm against your ribs, a constant drumbeat of pure exertion. Despite the searing pain in your muscles and the pervasive fatigue, you maintain your incredible pace, driven by the knowledge that the fate of an empire rests, however briefly, in your nimble feet. You are a living testament to human endurance, a finely tuned machine of sinew and will. The Inca road system, which you traverse daily, is a marvel that continues to inspire awe. It wasn't just a single grand highway, but a vast interconnected network stretching an astonishing 25,000 miles, 40,000 kilometers across some of the most challenging and diverse terrain on Earth. Imagine roads meticulously paved with cut stones, even at altitudes where breathing is a constant struggle. These aren't simple dirt tracks. They feature elaborate engineering retaining walls to prevent landslides on steep slopes, drainage systems to divert torrential rainfall, and even tunnels hand-carved through solid rock. A monumental undertaking without the use of metal tools or explosives. You navigate these features with an innate understanding, your feet instinctively finding the most secure footing, your body adapting to every twist and turn. It's a common historical misconception that these roads were built primarily for military conquest. While they certainly facilitated troop movements, their primary and most vital function was to enable swift communication and administrative control across the vast Inca Empire, making the Chasqui the true lifeblood of the state. Your typical segment, a grueling 3 to 6 miles, 5 to 10 kilometers, is designed to extract maximum speed and efficiency. You run with a distinctive, almost poetic gait, your body slightly hunched to minimize wind resistance, your arms pumping rhythmically to propel you forward. Your simple, sturdy sandals, tied with leather thongs, provide just enough protection for your calloused feet while allowing for a crucial, sensitive connection to the uneven and often treacherous terrain. You are a natural athlete, honed not by structured training programs, but by a lifetime of adapting to and conquering this brutal environment. Every muscle, every fiber of your being is conditioned for this relentless, high-altitude sprint, the constant battle against altitude sickness, or Soros, is perhaps your most insidious opponent. Even fully acclimated, the perpetual lack of oxygen means your lungs burn with every breath. Your head often throbs with a dull ache, and a persistent lightheadedness can accompany your most strenuous efforts. The coca leaves you chew are not merely a ritualistic comfort, they are a vital physiological aid. The mild stimulant properties and the unique compounds within the leaves help your body metabolize oxygen more efficiently, dull hunger pangs, and mask the overwhelming fatigue. Without them, your daily feat of endurance would simply be impossible, a truth understood by the Inca state, which strictly controlled coca cultivation and distribution. It's a fascinating, less-known fact that the Inca carefully managed coca as a strategic resource. Recognizing its immense value in enabling high-altitude labor and communication, the environmental hazards you face on your run are as varied as they are deadly. A clear morning sky can, within minutes, transform into a furious Andean storm, unleashing torrential rain, stinging hail, or even blinding blizzards. These sudden meteorological shifts turn the meticulously built road into a slick, muddy, or even icy death trap. You learn to read the subtle signs of the sky, the shifts in wind direction, the distant rumble of thunder, constantly adapting your pace and technique to the ever-changing conditions, knowing that a single misstep could lead to a fatal fall into a ravine. And then there are the rope bridges, spanning dizzying gorges that plunge hundreds, even thousands of feet below. These extraordinary suspension bridges are woven from tough agave fibers. As you run across them, the bridge sways precariously under your weight, creaking and groaning with every gust of wind. The abyss yawns below, a terrifying void that seems to pull at your very soul. Crossing these structures at speed demands immense courage, an unshakable nerve, an absolute faith in the integrity of the bridge and the engineers who built it. You feel the fibers stretch and groan, a visceral reminder of the constant danger inherent in your daily work. Yet you push on, because the message must go through. You are also keenly aware of the more subtle dangers of the wild Andean landscape. While direct encounters with large predators like pumas are rare on the main roads, the possibility always lingers. More common, yet still dangerous, are the smaller, unexpected obstacles, a poisonous snake slithering across the path, a startled herd of vicuña darting unexpectedly into your way, or even swarms of biting insects that can cause a momentary lapse in concentration, a potentially fatal error on a narrow mountain pass. Your senses are constantly heightened, an almost primal awareness of your surroundings, trained to detect the slightest anomaly, to predict and react to the unpredictable. Your mental discipline is as crucial as your physical prowess. You are not just a runner, you are a living, breathing repository of vital information. You must meticulously remember the spoken message, often a complex command or a detailed report from a regional governor to the Sapa Inca, and you must be able to accurately explain the nuances of the quipu you carry, ensuring the next Chasqui, and eventually the Quipucamayak quipu keeper, fully grasps its intricate data. This requires exceptional memory and clarity of thought. Even under the extreme duress of physical exertion and oxygen deprivation, the quipu itself is a fascinating marvel of Inca ingenuity. It's not just a collection of knots, it's a sophisticated recording device, a system of knotted, colored cords that could represent vast amounts of numerical data census figures. tribute payments, military supplies, trade inventories, and potentially, some scholars argue, even narrative information or historical events. Each knot, each color, each position, each twist of the cord held a specific meaning, understood only by the trained Quipucamayaks and the Chasqui who provided the crucial verbal context. Imagine trying to run several miles uphill, battling altitude sickness, while simultaneously recalling the precise meaning and context of a complex knotted message system. This unique dual-layer communication system, verbal and quipu, was a stroke of genius, ensuring accuracy and redundancy in vital imperial communication. Whether Quapus truly contained a phonetic writing system, akin to our alphabets, or were purely mnemonic and numerical records remains one of the greatest unresolved mysteries in Inca studies, fueling intense academic debate to this day. As you push through the final stages of your current segment, your senses sharpen, straining for the distinctive whistle from the next tambo. That sound, a high-pitched blast from a conch shell or bone, is the promise of relief, the signal that you are nearing the end of your strenuous leg, and that another fresh runner is ready to take up the burden. The very anticipation of that whistle pushes you, drives you to squeeze every last drop of effort from your burning lungs and aching legs. The wind whips past you, carrying the scents of pine and distant mountain wildflowers. But your focus is singular. The next tambo, the next runner, the uninterrupted flow of the message. You are a crucial link in an unbroken chain, and the strength of the Empire depends on your unwavering commitment. The brief pause at the tambo is a fleeting luxury, a necessary interruption in the ceaseless rhythm of your life as a Chasqui. You arrive, chest heaving, lungs burning, the taste of blood in your mouth from the exertion. The waiting runner, fresh and alert, swiftly takes your quipu and the verbal message, his eyes already trained on the next segment of the Inca road. As he disappears, a profound wave of relief washes over you, a temporary release from the immense pressure of the relay. But this relief is short-lived. Your body, a finely tuned machine, craves immediate rest and sustenance. You are led to a simple, unadorned sleeping area within the tambo, often just a corner with a reed mat. There's no soft bed, no plush blankets, only the rough fibers of the mat pressing into your aching muscles. You collapse, your limbs heavy, your mind a chaotic blur of twisting mountain paths and the relentless pounding of your own footsteps. Food, though vital, is consumed quickly, almost as a chore. A bowl of thick, nourishing broth made from dried meat and quinoa, perhaps, or a handful of roasted maize. It's sustenance designed for efficiency, providing maximum energy with minimal preparation. You eat mechanically, your senses dulled by exhaustion, barely tasting the food. The goal is simply to refuel, to provide your body with the necessary energy for the next grueling leg, and always, the coca leaves. You replenish your cheek pouch, the bitter taste a familiar comfort, the mild stimulant beginning its slow, steady work, dulling the sharp edges of hunger and fatigue, and, most importantly, aiding your body's relentless battle against the crushing effects of high altitude. It's a fascinating, less-known fact that the Inca strictly controlled coca cultivation and distribution, understanding its immense value for their laborers, especially the Chasqui, as a vital performance enhancer. Sleep, however, remains an elusive prize. Your body is too keyed up, too accustomed to constant motion and vigilance, to truly surrender to deep slumber. The ambient sounds of the tambo, the low murmur of other travelers, the shifting of pack llamas outside, the incessant whistling of the Andean wind through cracks in the stone walls all conspire to keep your mind alert. You might drift off for an hour, perhaps two. Your dream's a chaotic jumble of twisting paths and the urgent whistle of a faraway conch shell. It's a shallow, fitful rest, barely enough to stave off complete collapse, but rarely enough to truly recover, just as your body begins to relax. The piercing, insistent whistle of the next incoming Chasqui shatters the brief quiet. It's the unmistakable signal of a new message, a new urgency, and the impending start of your next run. There's no luxuriating, no hitting the snooze button here. You snap awake, your heart immediately quickening, your mind already calculating the remaining daylight, the distance of your next segment, and the potential hazards of the path. You stumble up, your muscles stiff and protesting, but the inherent discipline of the Chasqui system overrides any personal discomfort. You are a part of a vital, living network, and every link must hold, flawlessly, tirelessly. You step back out into the crisp Andean air, whether it's still the pre-dawn dark, the harsh glare of midday, or the soft glow of approaching dusk. The thin air remains sharp, biting, but your body is now thoroughly accustomed to its sting. You perform your quick stretches, feeling the familiar aches in your hamstrings and calves, trying to coax your stiff limbs into readiness. Your eyes, already keen, scan the horizon, following the impossibly straight line of the Inca Road, a winding ribbon carved into the impossibly steep slopes. You are ready. The Inca road system itself is a monumental feat of ancient engineering, an astonishing network stretching over 25,000 miles, 40,000 kilometers across some of the most challenging terrain on Earth. It wasn't just a single path, but a vast, interconnected web, meticulously constructed without the use of wheeled vehicles, which the Inca famously didn't possess. Imagine traversing thousands of miles from the arid coastal deserts, marked by low walls or posts, to the dizzying heights of the Andes, where they became meticulously paved paths, sometimes carved directly into sheer rock faces. These roads included sophisticated features, drainage systems to prevent erosion, retaining walls to stabilize hillsides, and even tunnels hand-carved through solid rock. A monumental undertaking without modern tools. You are intimately familiar with every twist, every turn, every steep incline and dizzying drop of your specific segment. It's a common historical misconception that these roads were solely for military purposes. In fact, their primary function was to facilitate rapid communication and administrative control across the vast empire, making the Chasqui the true circulatory system of the Inca state. As you begin your run, the gradient of the path immediately tests your lungs and legs. The thin air, already challenging, makes every lungful of oxygen feel insufficient. Your heart pounds in your chest, a frantic drumbeat against your ribs, your leg muscles already burning from previous efforts. Quickly protest, but you push through the pain. The Inca roads, while expertly built, often involve incredibly steep inclines and dizzying descents, sometimes requiring you to navigate narrow paths carved into sheer cliff faces, with a terrifying drop hundreds of feet below. You run with a characteristic light, agile gait, your body swaying slightly with each stride, minimizing impact on your joints. Your sandals provide just enough protection without impeding your connection to the terrain. You are a master of this environment, your footsteps sure and deliberate on the uneven surfaces, even when frost or loose scree makes the path treacherous. Your mind is keenly focused, alert to every shifting stone, every sudden gust of wind that could send you tumbling into the abyss. The altitude sickness, or soroche, is a constant battle, even fully acclimated. The lack of oxygen means perpetual breathlessness, lightheadedness, and sometimes a dull, persistent headache that thrums behind your eyes. The coca leaves you chew offer vital relief, not just masking the fatigue and hunger, but actively helping your body metabolize oxygen more efficiently. It's a natural, ancient aid that has sustained generations of Andean dwellers, and for you, it's the difference between continuing your run and collapsing on the path. Historians still debate the exact long-term physiological effects of constant coca consumption on the Chasqui, balancing its immediate benefits against any potential cumulative impacts on health. The terrain itself presents constant, unpredictable challenges. You might encounter sections of the road buried under recent rockfalls, forcing you to scramble over jagged boulders. Sudden mountain storms can sweep in with terrifying speed, bringing torrential rain, stinging hail, or even blinding blizzards, turning the path into a slippery, frozen nightmare. You learn to read the sky, to sense the subtle shifts in the wind that herald approaching weather. Crossing rope bridges, swaying precariously over deep gorges, is a common occurrence. These bridges, woven from tough agave fibers, are engineering marvels in themselves, but traversing them at a run, with the abyss yawning below, requires immense courage and a steady nerve. You feel the bridge sway and creak under your weight, its woven fibers groaning in protest, a visceral reminder of the constant danger inherent in your daily work. Yet, you push on, for the message must go through. Wildlife also presents a subtle, yet persistent, threat. While large predators like pumas or bears are rare on the main roads, the smaller creatures of the Andes can still cause problems. A sudden snake slithering across the path, a startled vicuña darting unexpectedly, or even a swarm of biting insects can distract a runner, leading to a potentially fatal misstep on a narrow mountain pass. You learn to observe your surroundings with a keen, almost primal awareness, constantly scanning for any signs of danger. Your sense is heightened by the perpetual state of vigilance. Your mind, though focused on the physical demands, is also a highly tuned instrument. You are a living library of the landscape, intimately familiar with every rock, every bend, every potential shortcut or hazard on your segment of the road. You can gauge distances by the sun's position, read the subtle signs of approaching weather, and identify the calls of distant wildlife. This deep, instinctive connection to your environment is as crucial to your success as your physical prowess. As you near the end of your segment, your senses sharpen, listening for the distinctive signal from the next tambo. A high-pitched whistle, blown through a conch shell or bone, would be the sign. You would listen for it, straining your ears over the wind. Its sound, a powerful motivator, a promise of a brief pause, a fleeting moment of respite before the next runner takes over. The very anticipation of that whistle pushes you to maintain your punishing pace, to squeeze every last ounce of speed from your aching legs, ensuring the unbroken chain of imperial communication continues its vital flow. The perils of the path you run daily as a Chasqui are far more numerous and insidious than mere inclines and thin air. The Inca roads, while engineering marvels, traverse some of the most unforgiving landscapes on Earth, each segment presenting its own unique set of dangers. You're not merely a runner, you are a survivor, constantly battling against the raw, untamed forces of the Andean wilderness and the unpredictable hand of nature. One of the most immediate and terrifying threats is the extreme weather that can sweep through the Andes with little warning. A clear, crisp morning can, within moments, transform into a furious mountain storm. Torrential rain can turn the meticulously paved roads into treacherous, slick waterways, blurring your vision and making every step a gamble against unseen potholes or sudden drops. The driving wind can be so strong it threatens to knock you off your feet, particularly on exposed ridges or swaying rope bridges. You learn to read the sky with an almost primal instinct, sensing the subtle shifts in wind direction, the telltale darkening of distant clouds, or the faint rumble of thunder that heralds an approaching maelstrom. Even more brutal is the hail, which can fall with stinging force, or, at higher altitudes, transform into a blinding blizzard. Imagine running at full speed, your lungs burning, only for the world to turn into a swirling vortex of white, obscuring the path entirely. The meticulously laid stones become coated in ice, turning solid ground into a perilous, slippery trap. Your hands and face, exposed to the elements, would quickly become numb with cold, risking frostbite. You would be forced to slow your pace but to pick your way with extreme caution, knowing that a single slip could send you plummeting into a ravine or leave you stranded and vulnerable to the biting cold. It's a common, yet often overlooked, detail of ancient Andean life that the climate itself was a constant and formidable adversary, shaping everything from architecture to communication methods, beyond the weather. The treacherous terrain itself is a constant source of peril. While the Inca roads are expertly constructed, they are not immune to the forces of nature. Rockfalls are a persistent danger, especially after heavy rains or seismic activity. You might round a bend only to find your path buried under a fresh pile of jagged boulders, forcing you to scramble over the unstable debris, risking twisted ankles or worse. The constant erosion of steep slopes can lead to landslides, swallowing entire sections of the road and forcing lengthy, dangerous detours through unstable terrain. You must be constantly vigilant, listening for the telltale creak of shifting earth or the distant rumble of falling stones. The most terrifying structural challenges are the rope bridges. These awe-inspiring suspension bridges, woven from strong agave fibers, often span dizzying gorges that plunge hundreds, even thousands of feet below. As you run across them, your weight, combined with the relentless Andean winds, makes the bridge sway precariously, creaking and groaning with every gust. The abyss below yawns, a terrifying void that seems to pull at your very soul. Crossing these structures at speed demands immense courage, an unshakable nerve, and absolute faith in the integrity of the bridge and the unseen hands of the engineers who built and maintained them. You feel the fibers stretch and groan under your feet, a visceral reminder of the constant, life-threatening danger inherent in your daily work. Yet the message must go through, and so you push past the primal fear, your discipline overriding your instincts for self-preservation. Wildlife also presents a subtle yet ever-present threat. While large predators like pumas or Andean bears are rare on the main roads, they are not unheard of, particularly in less traveled sections or at dawn and dusk. More common, yet still dangerous, are unexpected encounters with smaller, unpredictable creatures. A poisonous snake might slither across the path, its presence forcing a sudden, jarring halt that could throw you off balance on a narrow mountain ledge. A startled herd of vicuñas, renowned for their speed and skittish nature, might suddenly dart across your way, creating an instant, chaotic obstacle course. Even swarms of biting insects, particularly at lower altitudes, can cause a momentary lapse in concentration, a potentially fatal error on a treacherous path. Your senses are constantly heightened, an almost primal awareness of your surroundings, trained to detect the slightest anomaly, to predict and react to the unpredictable dangers lurking in the vast, untamed landscape. Beyond the immediate physical dangers, there's the constant psychological pressure. You are not just running, you are carrying vital information for the Sapa Inca, the supreme ruler of the empire. The weight of this responsibility is immense. A delay, a misstep, a forgotten detail, any failure on your part could have profound consequences for military campaigns, agricultural planning, or administrative control across the vast Inca state. The knowledge that the empire's efficiency hinges on your unwavering performance is a silent, heavy burden that you carry with every stride. Then there's the solitude. While you are part of a relay, much of your actual run is a solitary endeavor, high in the desolate mountains. The vast, empty landscape, while breathtaking, can also be profoundly isolating. Hours might pass without encountering another human soul, save for the occasional llama herder or a distant traveler. This solitude forces you inward, leaving you alone with your burning lungs, aching muscles, and the relentless demands of your duty. Historians sometimes debate the mental and emotional toll this isolation might have taken on the Chasqui, though ancient sources rarely delve into such personal psychological aspects. The coca leaves you chew are not just for the physical benefits. They also provide a crucial psychological buffer against these relentless pressures. The mild stimulant and anesthetic properties help to dull the edge of fear, to push past the gnawing anxiety, and to maintain a singular focus on the path ahead. They allow you to transcend, however temporarily, the overwhelming discomfort and danger of your daily grind, transforming your awareness into a hyper-focused state of pure, unadulterated endurance. Even the sun itself can be an enemy. At high altitudes, the UV radiation is incredibly intense, burning exposed skin and straining your eyes. Without modern sun protection, your face and hands become weathered, deeply tanned, and prone to sun damage. On exposed, unshaded sections of the road, the heat radiating from the rock can be stifling, dehydrating you at an alarming rate, demanding constant vigilance about your limited water supply. Despite all these perils, you run. You run because it is your duty, your purpose, your life. You run because the Empire depends on you. You are a living testament to the sheer resilience of the human spirit, adapting to and conquering an environment that would break lesser individuals. Every morning, you face these dangers anew, and every day, you push through them, carrying the vital pulse of the Inca Empire on your strong, enduring legs. The brutal daily grind of the Chasqui is not just a job, it's a constant battle for survival, a testament to unwavering commitment in the face of overwhelming odds. The quipu, that marvel of Inca ingenuity, is more than just a collection of knotted cords. It is a silent language, a complex repository of information that the Chasqui must understand and faithfully transmit. As you grasp the quipu from the incoming runner, your practiced fingers immediately begin to discern its intricate details, the varying thicknesses of the cotton or wool cords, the specific colors, the type and direction of the knots, and their precise placement along the main and subsidiary strings. To an outsider, it would appear to be an incomprehensible tangle. But to you, and to the specialized Quipucamayak's quipu keepers, it is a meticulously organized system of data and perhaps even narrative. Imagine trying to remember a complex spreadsheet or a detailed report without writing anything down. That is your daily mental task with the quipu, while the incoming Chasqui provides the crucial verbal context explaining which set of knots refers to a census count, which to military provisions, or which to tribute payments from a specific region. Your mind must immediately synthesize this spoken information with the visual data of the knots. You silently verify the knot patterns, ensuring your understanding aligns with the verbal explanation. A quick mental check before you embark on your own punishing run. It's one of the greatest enduring mysteries of the Inca Empire whether the quipus contained a true phonetic writing system, akin to our alphabets, or if they were purely mnemonic devices for numerical and statistical data. This continues to be a hotly debated topic among archaeologists and linguists, highlighting the astonishing complexity of Inca communication. The complexity of the quipu is staggering. There are different types of knots: single, long, or figure eight, each representing a numerical value based on its position. The color of the cords could indicate different categories of goods or people. The way a subsidiary cord was attached to a main cord could denote a hierarchical relationship. This intricate system allowed the Inca to manage a vast and diverse empire without a traditional written language, coordinating everything from census data and tribute collection to agricultural output and military movements. For example, a quipu might meticulously record the exact number of llamas in a particular valley, the amount of maize harvested in a given season, or the number of soldiers deployed to a distant province. For you, the Chasqui, the quipu is a silent partner, a physical embodiment of the Empire's vital information. You hold it carefully as you run, ensuring its delicate knots are not disturbed. You don't read it in the same way a scholar reads a scroll, but you understand its structure and its primary data points. Thanks to your rigorous training and the verbal cues from the previous runner, you are essentially a living, breathing hard drive, carrying not just the spoken word, but also complex statistical information across the brutal Andean landscape. The psychological burden of carrying this vital information is immense. You are not just a runner. You are a living conduit for the will of the Sapa Inca, the supreme ruler, whose commands and inquiries could travel across thousands of miles of brutal terrain at an astonishing speed. A testament to the unparalleled efficiency of the Chasqui system. The information you carry could determine the fate of entire communities, decide the outcome of military campaigns, or inform crucial imperial policies. You are acutely aware that a mistake, a forgotten detail, or a misstep could have catastrophic consequences for the Empire. This constant pressure, this unwavering responsibility, weighs heavily on your mind, even as your body strains against the physical demands of the run. Imagine running for miles, your lungs burning, your muscles screaming, battling altitude sickness and treacherous terrain, all while meticulously maintaining a mental picture of the Quipu's data and the precise verbal message that accompanies it. There is no room for error, no chance for a do-over. Accuracy and speed are paramount. This unique blend of physical and mental fortitude is what truly defines a Chasqui messenger. The value of the Chasqui system cannot be overstated in the context of the Inca Empire. Without wheeled vehicles or a widespread phonetic writing system, the ability to transmit information rapidly and reliably was absolutely critical for administering such a vast and diverse territory. It allowed the Sapa Inca in Cusco to maintain swift control, dispatch orders, and receive reports from distant provinces with astonishing efficiency. News of a rebellion in the north could reach the capital in days, allowing for a swift military response. Fresh fish from the Pacific coast could be delivered to the emperor's table in the high Andes, over 11,000 feet up, within 48 hours, an astounding feat for the time. This rapid communication was a key factor in the Inca Empire's stability and power, and you, the Chasqui, were the indispensable human engine driving it. Your training from a young age instilled in you not just physical prowess, but also this incredible mental discipline. You learned to memorize lengthy messages, to understand the intricate logic of the Quipus, and to perform under extreme stress. It was a rigorous education, often beginning in childhood, preparing you for a life dedicated to service and endurance. You are a highly specialized athlete, a human computer, and a vital link in the imperial chain, all rolled into one lean, powerful body. The coca leaves you chew constantly are not just for energy. They also play a subtle role in maintaining your mental acuity. While primarily a physical aid against altitude sickness and fatigue, the mild stimulant effect also helps to sharpen your focus, to keep your mind alert and responsive, even when your body is screaming for rest. This ancient plant, deeply woven into Andean culture, is your silent ally in the relentless pursuit of speed and accuracy. A fascinating, lesser-known detail is that the Inca maintained strict control over coca cultivation and distribution, recognizing its immense strategic value for their laborers, especially those performing high-altitude tasks like the Chasqui. It wasn't freely available to everyone. As you approach the next tambo, listening for the answering whistle, you mentally rehearse the message one last time, ensuring every detail is perfectly aligned with the quipu you carry. The responsibility is immense, and you carry it with a quiet, unwavering dedication. You are a testament to the organizational genius of the Inca, and to the extraordinary capabilities of the human body and mind when pushed to their absolute limits. The weight of an empire rests in your hands, in your memory, and in your tireless legs, ensuring that the voice of the Sapa Inca reaches every corner of his vast domain. The weight of the empire rested not just on the broad shoulders of the Sapa Inca, but intimately, daily, on yours as a Chasqui messenger. Every stride you took carried not just your own weary body, but vital information, commands, reports, census data, even gossip that knitted together the vast and diverse Inca realm. This was a psychological burden as profound as the physical demands of your runs. You were a walking, running memory stick, a human hard drive for an empire built on speed and precision. Imagine the urgency of the messages you carried. A distant province might be facing rebellion, and the Sapa Inca needed immediate, accurate reports to deploy troops. A new gold mine might have been discovered, requiring precise figures for tribute collection. A famine might threaten a remote valley, necessitating swift logistical responses from the central government. The information you transported, often encoded in the intricate knots of a quipu and contextualized by your verbal report, was the lifeblood of imperial control. There was no room for error, no allowance for a dropped message, no excuse for tardiness. The consequences of failure could be severe, not just for you, but for the thousands whose lives might depend on the timely arrival of your information. This pressure wasn't just theoretical, it was a constant companion on your runs. Every burning lungful of thin Andean air Every aching muscle, every treacherous step on a narrow mountain path was amplified by the knowledge that you were indispensable, if only for a short segment, to the functioning of the entire empire. You weren't merely delivering a letter, you were carrying the very will of the Sapa Inca, a divine ruler whose decisions shaped the lives of millions. Historians often debate the exact methods the Inca used to ensure the Chasquis' unwavering loyalty and accuracy, suggesting a combination of rigorous training, social prestige, and severe penalties for failure. This constant underlying pressure would etch itself onto your psyche, even as your body endured the physical ordeal. The psychological toll of this relentless grind was multifaceted. Constant physical exertion, combined with sleep deprivation in uncomfortable tambos and the inherent dangers of the path, would lead to perpetual fatigue. Your mind, though sharp for the message relay, would otherwise be dulled, focused almost entirely on the immediate task running. There was little room for personal thoughts, for reflection, for the complex emotional landscape that most humans inhabit. Your existence was reduced to a primal cycle of run, rest, and repeat, all in service to the Empire. The isolation could also be profound. While you interacted with other Chasqui at the Tambos, these were brief, professional exchanges. Your runs themselves were solitary journeys across vast, often uninhabited stretches of mountains and valleys. There were no companions for conversation, no distractions beyond the raw, untamed beauty and brutality of the Andes. This solitude, combined with the constant pressure and physical pain, would force you deep within yourself, making you an intensely private individual, focused inwards on the task at hand. The quipu itself, while a marvel of efficiency, also represented a unique mental burden. It wasn't just a physical object, it was a living record that you had to understand and verbally contextualize. You weren't a quipu-kamaya quipu master who spent years meticulously creating and deciphering these knotted records in static, centralized locations. But as a Chasqui, you needed a working knowledge of the quipu's content for your specific leg to ensure accurate transmission. This meant that even in your moments of extreme physical duress, a part of your mind had to remain clear, ready to explain complex numerical data or summarize historical events represented by the knots. Whether the quipus contained true narrative or phonetic writing, beyond just numerical data, remains one of the greatest unresolved mysteries in Inca studies. A captivating puzzle for archaeologists and linguists that highlights the incredible sophistication of Inca communication. This blend of physical and mental demands fostered an extraordinary sense of discipline and resilience. You learned to push past pain, to ignore the screaming protests of your muscles, to overcome the persistent effects of altitude sickness. You developed an unwavering focus, a single-minded dedication to the message. This was not merely a job, it was a sacred duty, a fundamental contribution to the stability and prosperity of the Inca Empire. The Sapa Inca's eyes, though physically distant, were metaphorically always watching, his imperial will flowing through your very footsteps. Consider the contrast with your former life, if you had one. Before becoming a Chasqui, perhaps you were a farmer, a weaver, living a settled existence tied to a single community. Now, your life was one of constant motion, of traversing vast distances, of being a vital yet ultimately expendable part of a colossal machine. This transformation would subtly reshape your identity, making you a person of the roads, of the wind, forever bound to the Empire's pulse. Despite the brutality, there was a certain prestige attached to being a Chasqui. You were chosen for your exceptional physical capabilities and your unwavering loyalty. You were intimately connected to the highest levels of imperial power, a direct conduit for the Sapa Inca's will. You were fed, clothed, and housed by the state, a level of security not always afforded to common citizens. This status might, however, came at the cost of your personal freedom and comfort, a trade-off that was simply the accepted reality of your existence. The mental fatigue was insidious. Even during your brief rest periods in the tambos, your mind would likely remain active, processing the physical demands, anticipating the next run. True, deep relaxation would be rare. The rhythmic pounding of your feet on the road, the whistling of the wind, the high-pitched calls of other Chasqui, these would be the internal soundtracks of your life, even in moments of stillness. Your sleep would often be disturbed by vivid dreams of endless roads, of urgent messages, of the constant struggle against the mountains. It's an interesting, if unprovable, thought that the Chasqui might have developed unique psychological coping mechanisms for their extreme existence. Perhaps even a form of meditative detachment during their runs, allowing them to endure such perpetual stress, the constant threat of peril, sudden storms, rockfalls, dangerous wildlife, treacherous rope bridges, would also keep your mind in a perpetual state of heightened alertness. While your body was exhausted, your senses had to remain sharp, constantly scanning your surroundings for any sign of danger. This hypervigilance, while necessary for survival, would further contribute to your mental exhaustion, making true relaxation almost impossible. Every shadow, every gust of wind, every distant sound could potentially signal a new threat. The sense of responsibility for the message itself was paramount. You were not allowed to tamper with it, to alter it, or to delay its transmission. Any deviation could result in severe punishment, perhaps even death. This draconian discipline ensured the absolute integrity of the communication system, but it also placed an immense psychological burden on each Chasqui. You were a vessel of information, and the purity of that information was your sacred trust. Ultimately, the brutal daily grind of an Inca Chasqui messenger was a profound test of human spirit, a testament to what the human body and mind could endure when pushed to their absolute limits in service of a colossal empire. Your life was a continuous loop of physical pain, mental exertion, and unwavering dedication. You were the silent, swift pulse of the Inca, the invisible threads that held a vast civilization together. Your sacrifices echoing through the timeless peaks of the Andes. The relentless cycle of your existence as a Chasqui messenger was punctuated by brief, often insufficient, periods of rest and recovery. These moments in the tambos were not truly restorative. They were merely intervals designed to prevent total collapse, allowing your body just enough reprieve to face the next brutal segment of the Inca Road. For you, true rest was a luxury rarely afforded, a distant dream that flickered at the edges of your perpetual exhaustion. When you arrived at a tambo, breathless and aching, the immediate relief of handing over the message in Quipu was immense. But this relief was fleeting, quickly replaced by the gnawing awareness of your limited downtime. You would be guided to a simple sleeping area, perhaps a reed mat on the cold stone floor, or a small, cramped bunk. The air, though marginally warmer than outside due to a central hearth, would still be thin and often smoky. Privacy was non-existent. These were communal spaces, filled with the sounds of other travelers, soldiers, and fellow Chasqui. Your body, though screaming for deep slumber, found it difficult to truly unwind. Your muscles would twitch and cramp, protesting the relentless pounding they had endured. The altitude sickness, a constant companion, would leave you feeling perpetually breathless, even at rest. A dull headache might throb behind your eyes, a persistent reminder of the oxygen deprivation. You might close your eyes, but the sounds of the tambo, the murmur of voices, the shifting of pack llamas outside, the distant whistle of an approaching runner would constantly penetrate your shallow sleep. Food, when provided, was basic but nourishing, a thin broth of dried meat and quinoa, or a handful of roasted maize. You would consume it quickly, mechanically, your body recognizing it as pure fuel rather than a meal to be savored. And, of course, the coca leaves. Even during your brief rest, you would continue to chew them, a small pouch ever present. The mild stimulant effect, combined with their ability to aid oxygen metabolism, was crucial for dulling the persistent hunger and masking the overwhelming fatigue. Without this ancient aid, your ability to perform the next segment would be severely compromised. It's a fascinating detail, often overlooked, that the Inca state's precise control over coca cultivation and distribution wasn't just about ritual, but about maintaining the operational efficiency of their physically demanding labor force. Particularly the Chasqui, the very structure of the Chasqui system meant that true recuperation was impossible. You were part of a seamless, continuous relay. There was always another runner coming, always another message to carry, always another segment of the grueling road awaiting you. Your life was a continuous loop of high-intensity exertion, followed by minimal recovery, pushing the very limits of human endurance. Your body was perpetually in a state of stress, never truly reaching a point of full recovery before being pushed again. The psychological impact of this relentless cycle was profound. You would live in a state of perpetual readiness, your mind attuned to the possibility of the next whistle, the next urgent command. This constant vigilance, combined with physical exhaustion and the inherent dangers of the Andean environment, would contribute to a chronic state of mental fatigue. Your dreams, if you had any, would likely be a chaotic jumble of twisting mountain paths, the relentless pounding of your own footsteps, and the urgent whistle of a faraway conch shell. Imagine the contrast to a settled life. Most people in the Inca Empire had routines tied to the land, to fixed communities, to the rhythm of the seasons. Your life, however, was defined by constant motion, by the transient nature of the tambos, by the endless, demanding stretches of road. This unique existence would foster a particular kind of detachment, a profound sense of being a living instrument for a greater purpose. Rather than an individual with personal desires or a rooted home, the mental burden of the message itself never truly left you. Even during rest, you had to retain the precise verbal report, ensuring its accuracy for the next relay. You also had to understand the context and, at least in part, the data contained within the quipu. This intellectual demand, layered on top of extreme physical duress, meant your mind was never truly at ease. The pressure of carrying the Sapa Inca's will, the knowledge that an error could have grave consequences for an entire region, was a constant internal weight. Scholars continue to debate the full extent of the Chasquis' quipu literacy, whether they could merely read their specific segment's data, or if some possessed a broader understanding of the entire message. Adding another layer to the enigma of Inca communication, the physical evidence of your demanding life would be etched onto your body-calloused feet. Strong, lean muscles, and perhaps a subtle tremor from constant exertion. Your face would be weathered by the sun and wind, your eyes holding a deep, ancient weariness. These were the marks of a Chasqui, the silent badges of honor earned through unrelenting service. Your lifespan, due to the extreme physical demands and lack of sufficient recovery, might well have been shorter than those who lived a more sedentary life. A harsh reality of your chosen or destined profession. Yet, despite the brutality, there was an undeniable sense of pride in your role. You were part of an elite corps, chosen for your exceptional abilities and unwavering loyalty to the Sapa Inca. You were essential to the functioning of the greatest empire in the Americas. The very speed with which vital information and fresh goods could traverse the empire was a direct testament to your unwavering dedication. You were a living symbol of Inca ingenuity and power, a vital link in the unbroken chain of imperial control. The system of Chasqui and Tambos allowed the Inca Empire to achieve an astonishing level of administrative and military efficiency. News of a coastal uprising could reach the Sapa Inca in Cusco, high in the mountains, in a matter of days. Fresh fish caught on the Pacific coast could be delivered to the emperor's table, hundreds of miles inland and thousands of feet in elevation, within 48 hours. This feat, incredible even by modern standards of pre-industrial communication, was directly attributable to your relentless efforts, your willingness to push your body and mind to their absolute limits. Your existence was a testament to the Inca's genius in leveraging human potential to overcome geographical barriers. Without the Chasqui, the vast, geographically fragmented empire would have been impossible to govern effectively. You were the Empire's nervous system, transmitting its impulses, commands, and sensory data with unparalleled speed and accuracy. The lasting legacy of the Chasqui is one of incredible human endurance, a powerful reminder of the physical and mental limits to which the human body can be pushed. Your story is woven into the very fabric of the Andes, a testament to the determination required to build and maintain an empire in one of the world's most challenging environments. Even today, the wind whispers through the ancient Inca roads, carrying the phantom echoes of your footsteps, a timeless tribute to the brutal daily grind of the Chasqui messenger. The final whistle, signaling the end of your last segment for the day, is a sound that brings a unique blend of relief and deeper exhaustion. You arrive at the tambo, breathless and trembling, hand over the quipu and the verbal message to the waiting Chasqui, and then, for a brief period, your direct duty is complete. You retreat to your simple reed mat, your muscles screaming in protest, your body craving the deep oblivion of true sleep that perpetually eludes you. This is the quiet conclusion of another brutal day, yet the echoes of your journey will linger long after your eyes finally close. The Inca road system, the very artery of the empire you serve, stands as a monumental testament to human ingenuity and perseverance. Stretching over 25,000 miles, these roads, meticulously crafted without wheeled vehicles, allowed for an astonishing level of communication and control across a vast and challenging terrain. From the coastal deserts to the dizzying heights of the Andes, these paths, often paved with intricate drainage and retaining walls, were the stage for your daily trials. You were a living part of this incredible infrastructure, your footsteps shaping its enduring legacy. Your daily runs, though often just 3 to 6 miles, were a relentless assault on your physical limits. The thin, biting air of the high altitudes, the searing burn in your lungs, the constant ache in your muscles, these were the familiar companions of your journey. You learned to move with an almost primal efficiency, your body a finely tuned instrument of endurance, adapting to every steep incline, every treacherous descent, every sudden turn of the path. Your worn sandals, molded to your feet, became an extension of your being, connecting you intimately to the unforgiving earth. The coca leaves were your lifeline, your ancient energy drink. Their bitter taste a constant reminder of the physiological aid they provided, dulling the pangs of hunger, masking the profound fatigue, and, crucially, enhancing your body's ability to cope with the severe lack of oxygen. This natural supplement allowed you to push your body to limits that would be otherwise unimaginable for an unacclimated individual. It's a testament to Inca wisdom that they understood and managed such a vital resource, showcasing an advanced grasp of performance enhancement in their logistical system. You battled not only the internal limits of your body, but also the raw, untamed forces of nature. Sudden, violent Andean storms could transform a clear sky into a blinding blizzard, turning the meticulously paved roads into treacherous, icy death traps. You learn to read the subtle signs of the sky, the shifts in the wind, the distant rumble of thunder, becoming a master of environmental prediction and adaptation. And the rope bridges, swaying precariously over dizzying gorges, were constant tests of courage and nerve, each crossing a silent prayer against the abyss. The quipu, that mysterious knotted cord, was the silent heart of the information you carried. While the spoken message provided immediate context, the quipu contained the vast, complex data that underpinned the empire's administration. You learned to understand its nuances, to explain its intricate knots to the next Chasqui, ensuring the flawless transmission of everything from census figures to military supplies. The ongoing debate among scholars about whether Quipus contained a true phonetic writing system beyond numerical and mnemonic data only adds to the allure and complexity of this incredible Inca innovation. The psychological burden of being a Chasqui was immense. You lived under constant pressure, carrying the literal weight of the Sapa Inca's will, knowing that your speed and accuracy could influence the fate of entire communities or the outcome of critical military campaigns. Your life was one of perpetual vigilance, of isolation on the vast roads, of a mind pushed to its limits even as your body screamed for rest. This relentless grind forged a unique kind of discipline, a profound, unwavering dedication to your sacred duty. Your life was a profound, personal sacrifice. You forfeited the settled life of a farmer or craftsman, the intimacy of a fixed home and family, for a transient existence defined by motion and imperial service. Your identity became inextricably linked to your role as a runner, a vital yet ultimately expendable cog in the grand machinery of the Inca Empire. The physical scars on your body, the deep weariness in your eyes were the silent badges of your arduous profession, yet there was undeniable prestige and purpose in your role. You were part of an elite corps, chosen for your exceptional physical prowess and unwavering loyalty. You were a direct conduit for imperial power, ensuring that the Sapa Inca's commands reached the furthest corners of his realm with astonishing speed. The ability to bring fresh fish from the coast to the Emperor's table in the high Andes within days, or to rapidly mobilize troops in response to distant threats, was a direct testament to your unwavering dedication and the seamless efficiency of the Chasqui system. You were the Empire's nervous system, its swift pulse, its vital connection to every village, every field, every mountain pass. As you finally lie down in the dim light of the tambo, your muscles twitching, your breath still ragged from the day's exertions, you might glance towards the open doorway. The Andean night sky, vast and impossibly clear at this altitude, twinkles with countless stars, their ancient light mirroring the enduring mysteries you have helped to navigate. You are but a tiny, vital part of a grander story, a human embodiment of an empire's ambition and ingenuity. Your brutal daily grind, a relentless cycle of pain and duty, created a legacy of endurance that echoes through the very stones of the Inca roads, a testament to the extraordinary capabilities of the human spirit. And as you drift into a fitful slumber, the phantom whistle of a distant Chasqui might still echo in your mind, a timeless reminder of the relentless rhythm that defined your incredible life. The wind whispers through the mountains, carrying the echoes of countless footsteps, forever imprinted with the unwavering spirit of the Inca Chasqui. So we've explored a long day in the arduous life of a Chasqui Inca messenger. From the morning whistle piercing the icy air to the steep, treacherous paths and the weight of an empire on his shoulders. Tonight, as you curl up in your warm blankets, remember the incredible resilience of man and how ancient messages have held together a great civilization. Let the resilience and courage of Chasqui gently guide you into a deep sleep,